quote than others. The This one
Hey,
is
it's the
relatively
exact same spot as the last race.
that's a relatively nice one. You can get spawned in the far southwest corner of the map, which is no fun at all. It's just so time consuming to get there or to get out of there. So it's nice that we got an easy start location. 26 is the medium secret. That is rolled low, so not a great start to the money for this seed. Let's wait and see what the big secret and the small secret
okay. So we've got that sword right off the bat here.
Very early
in the first cave, or second cave, I guess.
Absolutely, the sword. What's special about that is it can only be found in an open cave. It cannot be found in a burn bush or a bomb wall. Another fun thing that you'll notice is that garionoldwolf is playing as a Lionel, which is another feature of the randomizer. You can make custom sprites, so your sprites are a different NPC, as it were.
Yeah, and of course, certain other features added to this game. You'll note they found a cave that usually contains a heart container or a potion, and it also gives you the option for that free blue candle, which Vanny Van also picked up.
Absolutely. Vanny Van off to a slight lead early after Garion takes an unfortunate death over there right before picking up his blue candle, which I would assume he will do, as we see the small secret, which is quite a bit better than the mid secret was. That's that 14 is relatively high, as the small secret can be anywhere from 1 to 20, and Garion will get his candle.
And all we can do now is find that large secret, and then we'll be in good shape. So we did find a hint lady in the level 3 entrance. Unfortunately, we will not be able to understand that until we get the book.
Absolutely. That is good knowledge right off the bat to know that if you do find the book and some fortunate bomb drops on Garion's side, you will be able to just up A to the start screen and go right over to 3 and grab those hints.
All right, just another mid secret there. That is usually a high secret in the original game, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, and bomb prices are okay this seed. Not great, not awful. Right there in the middle, so they should be relatively accessible if we need them. Door repair. Chat making a good point. Door repair is 18 rupees, which is relatively high.
Oh.
We have the Armos item. It is the wand, and that is an outstanding item to get early in the game. That is going to make combat a lot easier, as the wand is 2 hits of damage instead of 1, which is the wood sword, and you can use it at the same time, making your damage 3 per hit. As Vanny Van finds our first dungeon, that's level 1.
Absolutely. Now, it does look like, and of course one of the new features of this randomizer is we're entering from a random spot in or along the edge of the dungeon. In this case, it looked like we were in the far left room coming in from the top.
Absolutely, and Vanny Van finds that first easy heart container guarded by some keys. Nice room to have a drop in, as keys are going to go down relatively easily, especially when you have once he gets that wand, which he should be getting relatively soon, I would suspect.
Yeah, but Vanny Van did go inside a certain room and found some Paul's voices and other things wanting to be destroyed. Was that a 58 large secret?
It was. That
gross.
That was not exactly what you want to see for the large secret. So it looks like outside of the small secret, the money is going to be a little tough sledding the seed. May want to hang on to that and make sure you spend it wisely.
And maybe like reset when you run into a door repair or something.
Absolutely. So Vanny Van decided to leave 1 after seeing that nasty room, and I don't necessarily blame him, but again, he should probably be picking up that Armos item relatively soon, and it'll be interesting to see if he goes back there, except he's actually going the wrong way for that, so we'll see what he ends up getting out of this path.
All right, so we had Garion attempting to screen wrap to the graveyard here, avoiding having to go through the puzzle of the Lost Woods, and gets it on the second try.
That's a useful trick if you're not familiar with Zelda at all. It can really help to cut down on time. Even if you don't screen wrap on every screen when you're going left to right or right to left, it can help get you through things such as the Lost Woods, which otherwise would have taken a lot more time as he grabs a heart container out of that grave spot.
Also allows you to get up to the level 5 entrance a little quicker.
Absolutely. It can also bridge the gap between the vanilla level 1 area and Death Mountain. And this is a nasty, nasty overworld so far. Lots of Lionel screens that are just not nice to traverse.
We got meat for 40 rupees, so if it turns out that we actually have a relevant meat block, at least it won't cut into our meager rupee supply too bad.
That is true, and it is right next to start, which is also good. You can just up A and get to it really quickly.
We did find another hint cave there on Candle Row. Unfortunately, still no way to read it.
And if you notice on Garion's screen there, since he is playing as the Lionel sprites have turned into Links. So that's a funny aspect of changing your sprite to an enemy. Now we got Garion digging out the Death Mountain here, which is an interesting play. A lot of people will try and save that for later, as it's such a bomb commitment, and it's so far from anything else as far as open caves. So it's typically seen as a gamble. Let's see if it pays off for him here, as Vannyven is about to be pleasantly surprised with his wand.
Yeah. Now, speaking of bomb commitment, Garion's getting some pretty nice bomb drops while up here.
Absolutely, and ooh, Vannyven takes an unfortunate death, but at least he saw that one, so I would suspect that he'll make a beeline right back over to that screen to pick it up.
Okay, so he saw it, but he didn't actually pick it up, apparently.
Absolutely. Garion picks up another small secret. He's getting up there in rupees. We're still trying to just inch our way up there. It's going to be a slog, though, with these rupee values. Vannyven with a nice screen scroll there. That's one of those situations where a screen scroll can save you quite a bit of time, probably about 10 seconds there, rather than having to take the intended route of going south on that screen, going across the bridge, and going back up.
Yeah, so Enemy Shuffle has this wonderful little property called, I believe it's called All the Lag. That is one of the things you experience when you get a lot of enemies on screen, all of which have their own projectiles shooting out at the same time. Your poor little NES just can't handle it.
That is true, and now Vannyven's deciding to dig into some uncharted territory for us and go toward the forest on the east side of the map.
So how precisely did we get that staircase to spawn? Oh, it was one of the take any roads. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, excuse me? Ah, right. It's a vanilla thing. I'm not used to that.
Right. And we've seen a noticeable lack of dungeons so far. We've only seen Dungeon 1 from Vannyven, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing we've seen so far, as he finds another take any and he'll pick up the heart container. Yeah,
a lot of runners will go ahead and grab the candle first and then, grab the heart container from every other one they see. Unless they're, about to go into 9 and then they'll just grab the potion.
Absolutely, and Garion finds level 3, so The seed has been being generous with the dungeons it's been giving
Oh,
us.
ladder
finds
time.
an immediate ladder in 3. That's a huge find early, and now I would suspect after he's done in here, he will make a beeline to that coast item and see what that is, as he can now pick it up.
Well, that is what we call a non-trivial number of Gibdos.
And Gyptos, the thing about them is they're relatively easy to kill. They move slow, they move in a straight line, and they are not they're not going to shoot anything at you. But they do deal 2 hearts of damage, so you can fall into the trap of getting a little too cavalier when fighting them and take a really costly bonk and lose most of your health in one go.
Right. And of course, if they happen to have other things in the room shooting at you at the same time, it becomes that much more difficult to survive. Now, we did go ahead and get the Triforce piece out of level 3. Gary's going to take a walk and look for some other things before trying to dive the rest of that.
Well, I doubt he'll go back into 3 as he has found the item and the Triforce, unless he needs some keys.
Oh, right. The ladder was the item. I'm a dumb. I was like, he hasn't found the item yet. Yes, he has.
But we did actually see the coast item on Vanny Van's side, and it is the raft, which it's worth the pickup. It's not exactly what you want to see early in the seed, but it does allow you to check those spots and route them in as you go, as they're not the most accessible, especially the one on the coast.
Right, and since the raft is already on the coast, at least you're there,
Absolutely, and we have a 9 find. It is in the Lost Hills on Garion's side.
Yep. And that, I believe, is not a secret you generally want to open in the vanilla game.
No, if I remember, my vanilla knowledge is a little bit lacking at this point. It's in the vanilla game, I'm pretty sure it's a 30 secret, but
Oh, I thought that one was a door repair. I could be wrong.
Actually, no, I know it's a 30 secret since I've been going 1% a little bit lately, but we'll see what's in vanilla 2, and it is just a potion shop.
Alright, and of course, you won't be able to go ahead and get that potion shop until you have the blue letter, which is going to be found in one random cave somewhere in this world.
Absolutely, as our runners give each other a high five on the way through, going in opposite directions here. Vanny Van's heading back toward the Lost Hills, and Rick, I assume, will be going toward the coast, where he will be rewarded with his raft.
And he's taking a slight beefing there.
We got beep strats from Vanny. I wasn't sure. I'm getting some confirmation from a certain person in chat that had a Freudian slip there as I was reading Rick's message there. I accidentally referred to garionoldwolf as Rick, so I apologize for that.
I mean, he could be a Rick. I don't know his actual name. Alright, so there we go. That is one raft for garionoldwolf. He's not going to go ahead and head to the raft location up above. I don't blame him because he was sitting on half a heart.
Correct, and chat pointing out another strategy that is popular to use that Vanny Van neglected to use with 9. When you find a dungeon and you're at low health like that, you can up A inside of the dungeon, get 3 of your hearts back, and continue on your way. So that's a useful strat to be aware of. And Vanny Van will find his ladder.
Nice jukes to get around those and stay alive. So Garion goes into 1, grabs the heart container in there that we found. So that heart container, is that the heart container for the dungeon, or is that the random heart container?
It could be either, actually. With 1, you don't know until you find either whatever other floor item, either the heart container or the actual item. So it's you can't know until you find both, or you found the heart container somewhere else.
Right. So level 1 is going to have 2 items, one of which is just a random drop, and the other one is in the little hidey hole that the bow is usually in.
Absolutely. And 1 is generally the dungeon that you want to find first, as it is going to be the smallest dungeon, and it will also be one of 3 that has 2 items. 1, 8, and 9 all have 2 items, whereas all the other dungeons will only have 1.
Alright, so we got Paul's voice all day. These guys are jerks, I believe is the technical term.
Pole's voice are somewhat like Gibdo's. They're relatively easy to avoid, but when there is a bunch of them grouped up and they're so high HP, you're trying to kill them fast. It can be very easy to fall into the trap of trying to kill them too fast and taking that too hard bomb that they'll give you.
So Valny, would you like some bombs with that game? That's what I'm saying. Would you like some bombs?
If only the game were always that generous with bombs, it would be a lot easier than it is.
So Garion pulls the Triforce piece out of 1 as well. That's going to give him 2 Triforce pieces, but again, we have not located all the items within this dungeon. How does this game work? The answer is carefully.
Absolutely. And Vanny will pick up his Triforce and be out of 3. That's an extremely nice 3 that the game has given us. Not as nice of a 1, though, unfortunately, as we're still looking for both items out of this dungeon. Possibly. As long as the heart container was not actually the item.
Well, if we find another... Ooh, the Any key. Hello.
That is a great find early in the seed, as a whole element of dungeon diving, which is your key count, goes completely out the window. You do not have to worry about it for the rest of the game. Many people aren't as excited a lot of times to find that as I am, but that's one of my top favorite things to find.
Oh, I love that
early
thing.
In the seed.
So yeah, it says random 1 at the top there, just because sometimes you can randomize the string associated with the levels at the top.
Absolutely. You'll see anywhere from random to lair to dungeon to level. Anything you want to put up there, you can usually put up there as long as it fits the characters. And Garion's about to find the item out of 1. The other item, it's the blue boomerang. Unfortunately, that is not necessarily what he's looking for, but he will pick it up anyway. If Vanny's still in 3, he must be digging keys, as he only has 1. I would suspect that's what he was doing, but he decides to go ahead and take off.
So the other dungeon that has an item just laying around, I believe, is 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of their items are just in the little... I don't know what you call those, side-scrolling sections?
Staircases.
Staircases,
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. So 1 and 2 are the only dungeons that will have floor items. Every other dungeon, every other item in a dungeon will be found below a staircase, basically.
Yeah. Now, of course, the trick with that is to know which rooms could possibly spawn a staircase, right?
Absolutely. So there are different rooms in first quest dungeons versus second quest dungeons that will have staircases. In first quest, there are fewer rooms that it could possibly be. In second quest, there's a lot more to worry about. But we're doing first quest, so you'll see a lot of possible push block rooms that the runners will not pursue, because in first quest they cannot be staircase rooms.
Right. So for example, the room where you've got 10 total blocks in 5 groups of 2, sort of arranged in a cross pattern, that one can be a staircase in the second quest, but not in the first.
Absolutely. There are definitely a few like that, and it definitely helps to know them, because if you find one of those rooms with, say, 8 blue wizrobes, and you don't know whether you have to dig that or not, that can kind of cost you some time.
Yeah, I believe the way you do that is you don't
Right, you just gotta know what the rooms are for first quest. That's definitely part of the game and part of being fascinating.
Alright, into the White Sword Cave. That's just a money-making game, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, and we have another Takeney on Garion's side, and we both have 6 hearts for both of our runners. That means whenever they do find that white sword item, whatever it is, they'll be able to pick it up without having to worry about if they don't have enough hearts. You've got 2 overworld items that you can find that require a certain number of hearts to pick up. The white sword item, which is randomized with every other item in the drop group, and then the magical sword, which is randomized at 10 to 14 hearts. So that is a much bigger heart commitment, but it can really pay off if you do stumble across it with 10 or 11 hearts and you're able to pick it up, as it will quadruple your sword damage from the wood sword.
Right. I don't think too many people are going to go out of their way looking for those hearts, but if they happen to run across that many hearts, then they will certainly not turn down a chance at the magical sword.
Absolutely. As garionoldwolf finds level 8 on the coast, or random 8, as he has it. 8 is a great dungeon to find, as it has 2 items. So it's very high probability that something good could be in here, especially since he's already found that blue boomerang and the raft, a few items that aren't as sought after. It leaves a lot more good items to find.
And there's one of our diamond-shaped formations. We can use a nice little block clip to get through here and not have to worry about that dig dogger. And the red ring is hiding underneath. You know what? I'm happy about that one, to be honest.
There's an item for you, especially, again, early in the seed. Red ring quadruples the damage that you can take. It essentially quadruples your health, as it fourths the damage that you take. So it turns you in from a glass cannon to a tank, basically.
And the Triforce is right next door. What do you know?
That's always a nice find. An early item, an early Triforce in a big dungeon like that. Now, the quandary is, do you go back in? But it looks like Garion has made his decision. He is going back to look for that second item.
And it does look like our entry point may have been... It was either at the top of the dungeon or very near it.
It was just north of the eye in the dungeon, I'm relatively sure. As Vanny Van finds his blue boomerang in 1, I believe that is both for him, and he will be leaving, except he hasn't found the Triforce yet. So I was a little bit too quick on the trigger there.
Yeah, I think he's found it, he just hasn't picked it up.
Correct, yeah.
He'll be headed there shortly.
Garion finds a useful compass in 8, and Vanny takes a death to those bunnies. Those bunnies are worse in different rooms, but that NSU room with the moat like that you can get stuck on is definitely one of the ones that you don't want to encounter a group full of bunnies in.
I know somebody who got their degree from NSU. Anyway.
NSU being...
I mean, I think there is a couple of... I think there are actually a couple of NSUs that exist. I just can't think of one off the top of my head, so I'm clearly bluffing.
And Vanny Van gets his Triforce out of 1, and he will be off. Garion decides to pick up that key for the heck of it.
Sure are a lot of dig doggers in this dungeon here.
Yeah, dig doggers are not exactly what you want to see, especially when they're guarding something useful if you do not have the recorder. If you're unfamiliar with the game, the recorder is required to make the big dig doggers into little dig doggers so that you can kill them. Until that, they are invulnerable. And anything that they're guarding, you cannot access.
Now, that being said, I'm reasonably certain that so in this particular scenario, if we found a hint regarding the red ring, it would say something about using a recorder or playing a tune to get through it, even though we just got there without getting there because we can block clip.
Absolutely. So there are definitely a few exceptions to the dig dogger guarding items or passageways that you can bypass with glitches or clips. As Garionoldwolf finds the silver arrows in 8, that was a huge play to go back in there after finding that early Triforce and early item, and he will be in real good shape going forward as Vanny Van is back in Death Mountain, finding some of the things that Garion has found previously.
All right, so silver arrows. Hey, there's level 4, kind of right next door to level 8. What's going on?
Absolutely, the coast ends up being a huge play here for Garion, finding 2 dungeons, one of which we already know is hugely useful. Finding a little bit meaner of a...
did he just get a clock?
He got a timely clock, though. That's always nice to see a clock from the first enemy you kill in a big group of nasty enemies like that.
I see what you did there.
I didn't mean to, believe it or not.
Yeah, I guess it was red ring and silvers in 8, so I guess they just moved the contents of 9 right over someplace else here.
That is a good point. I didn't even think about that, but that is true. And Garionoldwolf will find another heart container in 4.
Yep, so I believe he is in a location where that wall to the right could be an explodable wall, but it isn't in this case.
That is correct. There's one more room to the right of that, but unfortunately right now it is not a bombable wall, as you will see the key door, one south. And the item, let's see what it is.
We got a book.
Absolutely, there is your book. I would imagine that once he finds the Triforce out of this dungeon, he'll probably up A to start and look with, especially with 255 rupees already, doesn't need a ring. He'll be using that money on hints, I'm almost certain.
So, quick question. What is the lowest priced that a hint can be?
You know, that's a good question. That would probably be a question for chat there. I know, I'm pretty sure I've seen them as low as like 12, but I could be mistaken there.
I was thinking if it was possible for it to be 10 and you just rolled up 3 10s, it would be awful difficult to differentiate it from one of those money-making games.
Right. I know they can be up to at least 49. Okay, 10 to 60 is what chat is telling us. So that
it would be
thank you
awful rare for it to roll up 3 10s, but anything's possible.
So what Garion will be looking for after he gets out of this level 4 with that hint shop, as we almost are certain that he'll go to, will be the location of the bow. So that's the big thing that he'll be looking for. The everything else would be secondary at that point because he knows where 9 is. He has the ladder. There's really nothing at this point that could stop him outside of not being able to find the bow.
Yeah, so the bow is one of those one of those items where you're just like, first of all, you have to have it. And once you've gotten the bow, in this particular case, we would be in what we call the go mode situation.
Absolutely. As Vanny Van finds another heart container up in Death Mountain.
I believe that was the white sword item. because it was just the heart
Oh,
container.
then it would have been. I must have missed it. I just looked over and saw him holding up the heart container, so if that is true, then that's one more dungeon item out of the way. Chat confirming that is the White Sword Cave. Now, the best thing that could happen for Vanivan, as he finds level 6, so I was about to say, is that he finds a dungeon up here, decides to dig it, and it ends up holding the bow for him. That would put him right back in line with Garion, as Garion, probably the last thing on his mind at this point is wanting to go back up to Death Mountain and find more dungeons.
So I'm not going to lie, this is kind of an impressive color palette for level 6, that's all I'm saying.
It is, it's loud. I will say that. And the dark rooms are rave rooms, apparently. Vanivan decides to up A back to start, as he will, I would assume, pick up that Triforce on his way out, so that he'll leave the dungeon with full hearts. Garion finding a compass over in level 4, that will tell him the location that he's been looking for the Triforce, and it's all the way back up to start, or up to the top of the dungeon, which he's dug out, but just stopped one room short of finding that Triforce.
Just as far away as possible at this point. Okay, so we've got a staircase in level 6. Now, there is a transport staircase in level 6, so this could be that.
That is true.
And looks like that's what it is.
Unfortunately, there are 4 dungeons that do not have any transport staircases, and that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you get to 5 through 8, those all have one set of transport staircases apiece. 9 has 6 sets of transport staircases, and then obviously 2 item staircases as well.
Well, it looks like we've found our item staircase for 6 as well. It is the red candle.
The red candle, unfortunately not what he's looking for. He's not interested at all, so Vanivan will just up A, pick up his Triforce, and be on his way. Unfortunate for Vanivan there. So Vanivan will pick up his Triforce. That will give him 3 tied up on Triforces with Garion. Once he dips out of this dungeon, he'll be in West Death Mountain with one more check. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do after leaving. He has 3 bombs, the perfect amount. Well, I guess he'll have 2 in just a moment, but to go over and dig the coast, which is, as we know, the play that he really needs to make.
That is some serious value over there on the south coast.
Absolutely. Not only the red ring and the silvers, but also the book and 2 Triforces that would give him 5. Garion doing a really good job with this blue Darknet room, getting low but maintaining his composure and finishing the job to grab his Triforce. That would have been a relatively costly death, getting sent all the way back down to start there.
Alright, so we've found level 2 up on Death Mountain as well. Now, the only item in level 2 is one that drops randomly on the floor. So we're not looking for a staircase, we're just looking for whatever room happens to drop our item.
That is correct, and it depends on the room that it's randomized to. It could be an enemy drop, it could be just sitting free on the floor, just depending on the room that it ends up being in. So it'll be interesting to see.
Could it even be one of the things that just kind of sits in the enemy and you can see it?
I'm not sure in 2 if that's... I think in 2 that's possible, but I would need to get confirmation from someone more knowledgeable in chat.
Alright, so we just see a potion shop over at the Eastern Raft location.
Yeah, not great value out of the first wrap spot. Let's see what the second wrap spot will yield when Garion ends up making his way over there.
There's a bomb sitting in a Gibdo. That is not the item we're looking for, though.
No, absolutely not.
But the fact that that bomb is there lets you know that that's not the screen that contains the item you're looking for. However, hey, free bombs.
Right, he was out of bombs, Vanny Van was, so that's definitely a good pickup.
There's the Triforce piece in level 2. Still not finding exactly what we're looking for, though.
In chat confirming that yes, it is possible for the item in 2 to be inside of an enemy.
I'm assuming that also goes for the floor item in 1.
I'm not sure about that either. I would have to get confirmation again from chat on that one.
I mean, I'll just make assumptions and be wrong. I'm okay with it.
We find another just useful compass in level 2 there. Seems like all the compasses we're finding are after we find the actual Triforce.
Seems entirely legit. Hey, there's our letter. Found that up there in level 5 entrance.
It's always nice to have, especially when you've got the kind of money that Garion does. Garion electing to do a little bit more of this overworld exploration before going to buy the hints. And that is the caveat of picking up the book that you're seeing on Garion's side there. It still adds that flame to the end of your wand blast that can hurt you as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there when you pick up the book when your wand is your main source of damage. And there's a heart container in 2. I don't believe we've seen one yet this dungeon, and there is something that Vanny Van did not want to see. That was what I was talking about earlier, a dig dogger holding an item that is required to have the recorder. So he cannot get that item, whatever it is, until he gets the recorder. And that's the last item in 2. Or that's the last room in 2, so we know that that has to be the item.
Yeah, and if it turns out to be that bow that we're all looking for, we're going to have some very interesting people, or some very interesting times looking around for that recorder.
And you know what I'm thinking here? What if recorder is in 9, and that's the bow sitting there in 2?
Something dark world. I'm sorry. So we're up to 11 hearts. I don't think that we've found the magical sword cave, though.
We have not, but Vanny Van could absolutely make a play on it if he does find it. Garion deciding to dig 2 as well. He will be disappointed to find that he will not be able to get the item out of this dungeon, just like Vanny Van was not.
But he will get the 5th Triforce piece, so he may just start going to dig 9.
That is very true. He is going to get his last Triforce out of this dungeon that he needs to enter 9, so it's very possible that we could see a 9 play after this. He still has 255 rupees, though. I'm wondering when he's going to make that play to the hint shops as Vanny Van finds level 8.
All right, yeah. So the level 8, of course, as we know, containing both the red ring and the silver arrows, very important for the longevity of the seed, as far as the red ring goes, and of course for completing the seed with the silver arrows.
Absolutely. Vanny Van, unfortunately, not finding that transport staircase first. He will up A and choose a different path. opening all the doors here, and he will be happy to find his first item out of this room. I believe this was the red ring, if I remember correctly.
If I'm not mistaken, the red ring was actually in a diamond staircase guarded by a dig dogger.
That's correct. I think this was actually not a push block. Now that I think about it. Yes, that was not an item room. The item is in a diamond staircase, as you said. Garion continuing to make his way through this too, and we all know what will happen when he reaches the top.
So I guess this is going to be the silvers, or maybe this is the other end of the transport staircase.
We will see here in just a moment. The silvers might have been a little bit further into the dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the other end of that transport staircase.
Absolutely. So Garion will pick up his heart container, see his wonderful dig dogger block here, and just go straight back down to pick up the Triforce and leave empty-handed as far as items go out of this dungeon. Now, if you're Garion at this point, do you make the 9 play? Do you go into 9 and look for those items, or do you continue to try and dig for dungeons to find the bow elsewhere? Or do you go to the hint shop right away?
I mean, it's a good question. You've got plenty of rupees if you want those hints, and, I mean, one of them could mention the location of the bow.
Yeah, I think that would be my play too. The only if it doesn't have a hint for the bow, I think I'm trying my luck at 9 at this point. You got 9 hearts, you got red ring, you got the 1, the ladder. You're really set up to make a play at that, and if it ends up being in there, you're in a really good spot.
And I've reason to believe we've got... He may have already located both hint shops.
We do have the location on both hint shops, and both are actually relatively close to the start screen as well.
Take a ride on the Reading? My goodness. All this text makes me smile so much.
Our chat is predicting the worst possible outcome with play a melody to find the bow. That would be what you would not want to see, as Garion will make his play into 9. He's not going to go for those hint shops. He's going to just go straight into 9.
All right,
we
go
have
directly
Zelda's
to...
room already.
I was like, I think we just found Zelda's room. Seems legit. And we've got bomb holes both directions from this room.
And that's progress. Even if you don't find the items you're looking for in here, you are still making progress by digging out 9, because usually you'll find at least one, if not both, of the location of Ganon and Zelda while looking for 2 items in this dungeon.
Well, there's the first of 14 different staircases in Gen's tower. Level 9. Come on, guys.
Absolutely. And Vanny Van, continuing to make his way through 8 here, will be greeted by his next item shortly here.
Oh, look, the compass. Right after we found where Zelda is.
Continuing our string of useful compasses tonight.
We do know where the silver to kill the beast lies. So
absolutely. That's
our Tektite friend is not helping. Hey, bomb upgrade, yes please.
Bomb upgrade for 4 bombs. I did not see the price.
It was like 112 or something.
Yeah, not the greatest upgrade in the world. A little bit above vanilla price, but it could be much, much worse. That's for sure.
And yeah, bomb upgrades are kind of the best.
Vanny Van showing some really good combat with these Dark Nuts, dispatching of them quite easily here.
And there we go. The silver arrows now in Vanny Van's possession. That will allow him to go grab the 8th Triforce piece, and that will get him 5.
Absolutely. And this, we've got a race on our hands. We're pretty well tied outside of the small amount of progress that Garion has made into 9. Vanny Van is right there on his heels, so this is anyone's race at this point. Vanny Van will pick up his 5th Triforce and will be... Well, we'll see what he'll be doing. We don't know if we'll go into 9 or if it'll be a different play. As Garion will find another staircase here. Let's see what it is. Just another transport case. These transport staircases have been taking Garion all over the place in this 9. We've seen pretty much all the outskirts of this dungeon. I'm wondering how you get to the middle of it at this point.
I'm guessing through judicious use of explosives.
Yeah, that would be about par for the course. As Vanny Van picks up a potion, it looks like Vanny Van is making the play to 9 as well. We are going to be we're going to have both of our runners in 9. Now, Vanny Van will have a slight disadvantage of not having the book and not being able to read the hints that he'll get in this dungeon.
Yeah. So one thing I did notice when playing through a couple of seeds for this is, there's the power bracelet in 9.
Power bracelet's good. It opens up spots, but not probably what Garion wanted to see there. We'll see what the second item ends up being. And Vanny Van is... did I miss him? Oh, okay, he went up through the door and went back through, so it glitched out on him. That's a glitch that can happen in 9, where if you go through that initial door where you're gated with the Triforces and you go back through, you have to leave the room and come back for the door to open again.
Right. So the what I was saying earlier is, you know how the text is, basically unreadable without the book? Well, right. In at least the text from the guy at the front of 9 is not unreadable. So if you pulled this up, it would say you need 5 units to pass or something. It would not give you this, I can't understand you.
That's an interesting piece of information. I actually did not know that. I've never tried to go into 9 without the required Triforces, so I've never seen...
Yeah, and the reason that is because there are certain flags you can set up to where the entry requirement for 9 is, randomized.
That makes sense. And there's one of those hints that Vanny Van is not able to read. We'll see how much of a difference that ends up making, Garion having that book versus Vanny not having it. Garion well into the middle of the dungeon at this point and finds the map. Not bad. We know the layout of 9, but it can be helpful just to make sure that you're in the spot that you think you are and you're not bombing the wrong wall, wasting a bomb, which are like gold when you're in 9 with how many bomb walls there are.
Right, we've made it to the right, or I guess technically left eye of the skull.
That's true, and our runners are very close in proximity to each other in the dungeon right now. So we could have a high five or two as Garion finds another staircase here. He's getting to the point where we're running out of we're quickly running out of staircase options for him.
So once again, another transport staircase. Plenty of these throughout the dungeon.
That's true. I think he's found something like 4 or 5 sets at this point. So getting to the point where it's getting a lot more likely that the next one he walks into will be the item.
So you remember that lag I was talking about?
Yeah, when Link's shooting projectiles and you got 8 enemies on the screen and they're all throwing projectiles, it can be quite the laggy situation. And we have a spiral staircase.
Yeah, along with Rupee Boss.
That always kind of throws me off for a second when there's Rupee Boss and Shutter Door, and there's the item, and that is the recorder.
Wow, so the bow is not in 9. So I expect an immediate save and quit out of here for an up A.
Now, I wonder where he's going to go.
I'm guessing 2?
I would say that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have a duck to take us away this time, so we can't really make a song happen.
Right. So this'll be interesting. We'll see what this Dig Dogger is hiding in here. And you gotta think that Vanny Van, with the same information, will probably make the same play after he finds his recorder in here. So it's safe to say that Garion has a little bit of a lead here. Let's see if Vanny Van can make it up.
Yeah, now we are still missing. I don't think we've even located levels 5 or 7. Am I right?
I don't believe so. I don't believe we've seen either.
Right. So this flute or recorder could lead us to the all-important bow, or it could be something like the white sword, and we got to go find level 5 or 7.
Absolutely. So this is definitely not the end-all be-all. But Garion's going to have a little jump start here, a little head start, starting his search if this is not the bow.
We got some sick bomb strats.
And I apologize, my stream is...
Oh, so you're not the only one.
Yeah, my stream is not wanting to cooperate right now. I have no idea what's happening. I'm glad it's not just me, though. And chat confirming that we have Banana in too. That's interesting.
Ooh.
So that's best case scenario for Vanny Van at this point. I don't know what Vanny Van or Garion are doing at this point because I'm still trying to get my stream back up. But I think until that time, I'm going to switch over to the speed gaming stream, the non-commentator stream, so that I can at least, even if it's delayed, see what's going on.
Seems like a good call. So I imagine the next move is to, look for 5 and 7, and 6 in Garion's case because he hasn't seen 6 either.
Absolutely, and Vanny Van looks like just found an item. I just got my, and that was the recorder. Vanny Van looks like he just found his recorder. He needs to find that power bracelet, continuing to dig, but we'll see if Vanny Van decides to...
Well, I mean, according to the tracker, the power bracelet is marked for Vanny Van, so I don't know.
Interesting. Oh, maybe that what? I guess he did find the bracelet just now, and he's still looking for a recorder. Sorry about the technical issues we're having. I missed I missed the item that he found, and I'm still catching up. Garion finds a Triforce in 6, not interested in the slightest, so he will turn around and go right back out now. I guess he's going to pick up the Triforce here, just to refill his hearts, which is not a bad play at all, so he can go up into the top of 6 and dig that item out. Vanny Van trying to get past a Patra there, makes it pass. Now, as we know, Garion is not going to find what he wants in here. 6 was not the bow, so this gives Vanny Van a chance to make up some of that ground if he can find that power bracelet soon.
All right, and it also does sound like right next to our sound device, the good old-fashioned lair of Ganon is right next door. We're being told Vanivan is the preferred pronunciation there. I don't know if that's correct or if we're just being trolled, but I'll go with that.
And Vanny Van will find his recorder. So that is a big find for Vanny Van. And we are right back on equal footing at this point. Garion's still looking for that item in 6. Vanny Van, I assume, will probably go to 2 at this point, dig that item out, but he knows exactly where it is. Garion does not know where the item in 6 is. Except Vanny Van continuing to dig this 9, so we'll see. Oh.
Yeah, the only other thing that Vanivan could be looking for here is the actual Ganon location, which is, to be fair, I believe there was a growling Ganon in the room with the staircase toward the recorder.
And I'm seeing in chat that I've been apparently pronouncing Vanivan's name incorrectly, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean, we just got it, so. Alright, so I think that means the Ganon is directly to the left. Well, no, it's right there.
So
there it is.
Garion continuing to dig out the 6. Vanivan up A's out of 9. I assume we'll probably be seeing a 2 play. And then we'll be looking for other dungeons. 5 or 7, as we know, will have the bow. So which do we think it is? Do we think it's in 5 or do we think it's in 7?
Well, I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and say 7.
That would certainly make for an interesting.
Also,
dig.
7 is at its vanilla location.
I guess I missed that.
No, that's my prediction.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's not. That's not the word of God here.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, did we see that? I must have missed that with all the technical difficulties we've been having. But I am back on the commentator stream, so apologize for the issues, folks.
Yeah, we could definitely have one dungeon sitting behind the power bracelet, and then 7 sitting behind the recorder, and it would just be hilarious.
That would be quite the troll situation, as Garion will find his red candle. Unlike Vanivan, Garion will pick it up, and he'll up A out of the dungeon. So he's got a little bit of a lead still, but that lead has shrunk dramatically from what he did have. But it is still absolutely anybody's race at this point. Just depends on who ends up finding that dungeon first. Von making his way up to the top of the mountain here.
Gonna be summarily disappointed with that banana situation here.
Just a little bit, I would imagine. We'll play the melody, nerf the Dig Dogger, and dispatch him pretty quickly with this wand here.
Man, I just watching this makes me realize just how OP the wand is. You know what I mean?
Right. Not only is it always a ranged weapon, but it is also a much bigger hitbox than your sword. It will hit things that are above you, below you, and sometimes even behind you, I've seen. So I don't have it completely worked out, but I can usually make a good guess on when I can manipulate that hitbox.
Okay, Garion is now headed for the vanilla location of 7.
Absolutely. Let's see what it has.
It's the magical sword, and it turns out to be a 10-heart sword.
Wow, what a find there. That's gonna give Garion another leg up. His damage potential has just gone from 3 to 6 in one swing, so that is a huge buff for Garion there.
Now, true or false, Ganon does not take damage from the wand.
That is true. Ganon can only take damage from the sword until you turn him red, and then he takes damage from the silver arrow and the silver arrow.
Oh, there's our level 7.
There is our level 7 indeed, as Vanivan. I forgot that Vanivan still hadn't dug 4, so that's also something that he'll have to dig out before he starts making progress in these other dungeons.
Yeah, luckily he won't have to actually go get that Triforce piece, which we know is guarded by a bunch of blue dark nuts in the top right corner. I'm not a huge fan of that play.
That's true. That's the saving grace there. He makes the play toward the south, just gets through it quickly, and he'll be looking for that staircase and that staircase only. Garion finds an interesting room. Gotta be careful here with these blue Landmolas. They're very fast, deal 2 hearts of damage regularly, a half a heart to Garion there, but he gets a very timely fairy to make that a lot less nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Blue Landmos are actual jerks.
Absolutely. They're not not what you want to see when you're trying to get through things fast. And by the way, they're in a push block room that could be an item. And we have Wizrobes in level 7 as well, which is also not fun when you're trying to go fast, but Garion, fortunately for him, picked up that magical sword right before coming in here, so he is just slicing through those Wizrobes.
And it's the white sword! We gotta go find 5!
And that is a nice meme by our seed here, giving Garion the white sword in 7 right after finding Mags. But the good thing is, it gave it to him relatively quickly in 7. He did not have to dig much of that dungeon at all. He will be looking for 5.
So it looks like the next place we're going is, like, take any road number 2, as I call it. And that's level 5.
Absolutely. So, Garion, not much that can stop him at this point. He's got the offense, he's got the defense. He knows that what he's looking for has to be in this dungeon. As long as he can maintain his composure, he's on his way to getting a win here. but it's certainly not over yet.
So the only minor advantage that Vanivan has right now is he knows exactly where the Ganon room is, whereas Garion just knows the general idea.
Right. Now, Garion has explored a lot of that 9, so there aren't a whole lot of places that he'll have to look. But that is very true. That knowing the location of Zelda and Ganon can be huge when trying to finish up one of these steeds. Going back into 9 with all the items you need, rather than just going in there blind or without the exact knowledge.
Right, so Vanivan finds the book, which is nice. He could actually go out and find hints now if he really wanted to.
At this point, it might behoove him to do that and make sure that he doesn't end up going into 7 as opposed to 5. Because if he misses that item in 7, he could be in there a long time looking for it. As 7 is our biggest dungeon outside of 9, and it only has that one item.
And Garion just located the other bomb upgrade.
Absolutely. He had 255 rupees. I don't blame him one bit for picking up that bomb upgrade, just so he doesn't have to worry about it at all. And there's a staircase. Let's see if this is the bow.
Nope, it is the transport staircase for 5. So we've still got one more thing to find.
Indeed. Now, luckily 5 isn't that big of a dungeon, so you should be finding it relatively quickly.
There's our food block situation.
Nice to know that the Hungry Korea was just blocking a wall that cannot be bombed or accessed in any way.
Oh, he just found out the level 7 has the white sword.
That is just as useful as finding the bow in 5. It doesn't seem like there must be one other item that Vanivan hasn't found, or else he just hasn't put that together yet. And here is the bow for Garion.
All right. Bow acquired. It's time to go back to 9 and finish this off.
Garion finds his go mode at 1 hour, 7 minutes. And he will be heading straight back into 9 to finish off this seed. It's not over yet, but it's looking like he's well on his way.
Vanivan goes to check out San Diego over there.
And chat making a good point there, that Vanivan was probably looking for a hint for the location of 5, which makes a lot of sense.
Right. That is a thing.
Garion making through these nasty combat rooms here.
Step over the water to reach the raft. Step over the water to reach the bow.
Now that might be unfortunate. That might send Vanivan off on a goose chase, as that is going to imply that he might need to take a raft spot. It looks like that's how he's taking it.
I think sail across the water is for the raft.
That's true, but it looked like he made a beeline right over there. So, unfortunately, that means it's ladder blocked, but it can also be a ladder block in a dungeon, which is what it is in this case.
All right, Garion bombing to the right. And if we head straight down, this will be the Ganon fight for garionoldwolf.
At 109.11, Garion has found the girl at this point.
Well, there we go.
He's got 2 hits. He'll need 2 more with this magical sword and gets it. And we have bacon.
Okay, dumb question.
Well,
how are they switching items?
They're using select. You can set it up on the randomizer to allow select swaps, but Garion at 109:49 official SRL time has finished. In first place, get your GGs out in chat for Garion. Great job by him.
Well played indeed.
Absolutely. He found Ganon relatively quickly in that 9, didn't have any problems, knew what he had to do, got in there and did it. As Von, unfortunately, just still looking for the location of 5. It's actually just, I believe, 4 screens away from start screen, but it can be really difficult to consider all those locations. I think he still has several locations to check at this point. The Zelda sprite was actually Ganon. We're getting a question in chat. What was the Zelda sprite? It's actually Ganon. So, since Garion was playing as a Lionel, that's why he was saving Ganon from Zelda. So we're working on getting Garion in here for an interview. We will have him as soon as we can here. And I'm having...
There we go. And we are joined by the winner of today's race, Garion. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing all right. How do you feel about this seed kind of dragging you all over the world?
I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in real quick here, guys. It looks like the stream has had some problems here. I think they're working on fixing that really shortly. I'm sorry to interrupt there, Garion.
It's all right.
Looks like Vonnie's stream is down.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, Garion. Go for it. GG's,
buddy. Right. Thank you. I thought that seed was pretty good up until I got into 9 and found it was Power Bracelet and Recorder, and the bow was not there. And, of course, I went to every wrong level then.
Yeah, of course. That's the way it goes. Looks like Vonnie has found his way into level 7. Unfortunately, knowing already that the bow is not in 7, because he got a hint there.
Does he have 5 Triforces yet?
Yeah,
he has Power Bracelet.
Yeah, he's already been through all of these. Basically all of 9 as well. He's just once again had to deal with this mess.
Yeah, it was actually a really good race between you two. Through 9, you're both in 9 digging items basically at the same time. You went up to make that play at 2 before he did, and he had to dig 4, which cost him time, and he also did not know the location of 7 or 5. It's taken him a little while to find it, so that's really basically the difference, but it was really exciting there. That was a great win on your part. How do you feel about that required that required Power Bracelet in 9 to find the bow?
Yeah, that happens with these flags sometimes. That's the fun of having important items be in 9.
Absolutely. So you're 1-0, off to a good start here. How are you feeling about these flags in general?
I actually like these flags. The fact that you can possibly make a gamble and potentially end up ahead even against some of the better players, but there's still also those cases where you make a gamble and it was the wrong decision. Like, I was happy to find the silver arrows when I was in 8.
Right, and that was one of the big plays that kind of gave you an early lead. You found that 8 quite a bit earlier than Vani did, and that allowed you to be a lot more cavalier with your combat, not have to be so careful around some of these nasty enemy sets.
Yeah, I think I discovered almost every single spot on the overworld, so.
Yeah, I didn't see one that you didn't get. If there was, it was maybe the coast raft spot. I'm not sure if you went there.
I got the coast raft spot. The one I missed was vanilla level 4.
Okay, yeah. So, which I'm not sure.
I believe that was just another blue ring shop.
Yeah, that was.
I figured it wasn't anything important because I found white sword item, I found magical sword, and everything else. I figured that must not have mattered.
Mm-hmm.
So after this week, we're going to the you'll be going to the 1-0 bracket. Is there anything you're hoping for out of your second week of competition there? Any runners you're hoping to face specifically or avoid?
I haven't really paid attention to the list of who's won and who's lost, other than I know there's a couple of the really good players in the winner bracket, and I know there's 1 or 2 in the 0-1 bracket. So it didn't really matter whether I won or lost. Either way, there's tough matches that I could end up with. But with the way these flags play, I don't really feel I have to worry about who I play so much as how does the seed go.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing about Randomizer. Anybody can win on any given day, as long as you make the right calls and play well. You've got a shot.
Hey guys, there's a hint to the location of level 7 in level 7.
Keeping with the useful hints, compasses, and so forth that the seed has given us.
Yeah, it seems about normal for that flag that randomizes which dungeon hints are going to be in.
Right.
I think I saw in the Zelda 1 Discord, Fred was saying about it's expected that you average 1 per seed. That tells you within the same dungeon.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's the average number of fixed points is going to be like 1 over n, where n is Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry, I'm having a huge nerd moment.
And unfortunately, it looks like Bonnie in the 7 is too far to the south. Unfortunately, he has missed that item spot that was relatively closer to start in this dungeon, so he's going to have to make his way back up there to find that.
Well, considering it's 1 a.m. here for me, did you guys have any more questions for me?
I think that's all I had. I'll ask my partner in crime here. Did you have any other questions for Gary?
Sounds good to me. Thanks so much for showing off your talents, and good luck next round.
Absolutely, and give Gary a follow. Give both our runners a follow here, Gary and Bonnie Von. They put on a great show, a really entertaining race. Even though Bonnie Von ended up just having a little trouble with the location of 5. But thanks for joining us, Gary. We appreciate it, and GG's.
Sure. And thank you guys for the commentary, Malagord for the tracking, and also to Speed Gaming for the restream.
Absolutely. Always appreciate everyone that makes this happen.
Yep. Now I'm heading off to bed, so have a good night, guys.
Absolutely. Have a good night, and GG. So we have Von finishing up the seed here. It looks like he is going to find this item for better or worse out of 7 and end up making the play to 5 after that. Unfortunately, it looks like he's got a little bit of a quandary here. Not quite sure what his path is, but I suspect he'll find it relatively soon here.
Yeah, he just needs to... The real issue is he just needs to realize that this is not the dungeon he needs to be in. With that hint about Gorilla grumbling with the white sword, he should know that's what awaits him in this dungeon.
That's true, and it looks like he has up aid back to start, which is closer to where he wants to be. I'm going to check out a few of these rooms that he has not explored yet. My goodness, the gomas in this dungeon. You'd think that it would give you a bow just based on that. But unfortunately, the seed will not be that kind.
Yeah, fortunately, you, at least when you run into one of those, you know that it's not got the bow, like, lurking behind it somehow.
Absolutely. I think I've counted 4 or 5 gomas at this point. And chat pointing out that we've seen several Gleeoks as well, so all kinds of boss fun in this dungeon. Now making his way
Here
up to
we go.
north, and this should be the confirmation that Von needs to dip out and find that last dungeon. And there is that troll white sword that Garion found earlier. Von none too pleased to see it, and he will be looking for 5. Now, one thing I will say is, at the beginning of the race, on Bonnie's start screen, it said Bonnie's first race. And if that's true, if this is Bonnie's first race, he's put on an impressive display. My first race, I was just trying to sub 3 hour the thing, so this is a great performance that we've been seeing from Von. Just some rough luck.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that this is his first go.
Absolutely. Getting the block clips, able to screen scroll.
I'm guessing it's probably not his first time running it, but he said it's his first race, so pretty interesting run here.
Oh, absolutely. I'm checking that Armo spot.
That is where the wand was earlier.
Absolutely.
So every seed I've seen so far with the Armos randomization has always had it in the top row. Is that always a thing?
Yes, it will always be in the top row. Similar to how in dungeons, it will always be a block on the left side that is the push block. Like the 2 blocks in the middle, it'll always be the left block that you have to push. The diamond, it'll always be the left block, etc. And Vonnie, unfortunately, making his way away from where we know he needs to be, which is the push block spot right below the fairy fountain in the forest.
And I mean, my personal best for this category is 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I've got nothing to say about the level of skill on display here.
And Von unfortunately finds a secret spot here in the push block at the grave. Looks like he's up Aing, which that'll put him right next to where he needs to be. And hopefully checking that spot will jog his memory that, you know what, I needed to check that other push block spot right north of the start screen. It looks like that's what he's on his way to do.
All right, this will get him into level 5, which is, of course, the location of the bow. All you got to do now is just dig it right out, and we will be on our way to a completed seed.
So we know that the bow is up toward the north part of the dungeon. Hopefully, when he sees that transport staircase, he'll take that staircase, as it'll put him closer to where he needs to be. Nice little heart container grab there. It'll help fighting Ganon.
That is a particularly unthreatening shakedown there from the old man.
Give me the heart container you just got, or give me 5 of your infinite amount of keys. That's a tough one.
Someone set us up, the bomb guy. I know you guys have seen these a million times. I am impressed every single time.
That's actually the first time I've seen that one, or the first time I've paid attention, to be honest. As we know, this will not be the item, but if he takes it, it will put him closer to the item. It's like he's choosing not to, he's just going to take the scenic route here. Bombing the walls here. There he goes. Finds the right one.
No, that was the left one.
Touche.
Sorry, I'm bad.
And probably making a lot more sense now, as he'll see that this item was indeed ladder blocked for him to get, and that's the other side of the transport staircase. Actually, technically, he hasn't seen the ladder block yet, because he took the transport staircase. Or he did not take the transport staircase, but put him on the other side. So here we go. Unless it was at the beginning. I didn't see a moat block there. Must have been right at the beginning.
Alright, so there's our bow. And Von will be making a beeline for level 9.
At this point, it won't take him long at all, especially after filling up his hearts here. Gonna go in with what'll be 13 hearts, magical sword, red ring, bow and silvers. Shouldn't have a problem there taking out Ganon. I believe he's got a potion too, so be a real quick little jaunt into the 9 to take out Ganon. He knows the location of him, he knows the location of her, so not too much in his way at this point. Still finish up with a really good time here.
Alright, back into level 9. He knows exactly where Ganon is. And so this should be a relatively academic exercise with the magical sword, 13 hearts, and just the silver arrows in hand as well. Just gonna destroy Ganon.
Now the only thing that Vani will have to find is the staircase that takes him to Ganon. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a path without taking a staircase, but he does not know that.
Yeah, he has been to the Ganon room before. He just has to make sure that he can remember that path. A lot of people will be using trackers or whatnot to keep track of the staircases and such inside level 9.
It depends on if you map your 9 or not. Some people choose to. Some people, like myself, aren't nearly as proficient with tracking every single room in the dungeon and mapping it all out, and just go by memory. So there are lots of different ways people do it.
The way I've been doing it in mine is I'll mark the staircases, but otherwise I'll just use the map that the game makes for me.
Right. And the staircases are the most important thing to map in 9. That's definitely for sure, as they can be so confusing with 6 sets of them.
I'm sure if I played this enough, I'd get used to not doing it, but you know. That is an awful lot of Gorias. And
Nice block clip there.
Mm-hmm. This is a immaculately programmed game, isn't it?
It's definitely not the worst I've seen. That's for sure. But it does have a few funny things that can happen. And at 131.28, Vonnie Von has found Ganon. Got 2 hits, needs 2 more, has not taken any damage. There he takes a driver, but he'll be fine. Takes another, but gets the pig red, and he is down. Now I imagine Vonnie will just up A and finish off the C.
Well done indeed.
Alright, so with an official SRL time of 1:32:17, Vonnie Von has saved the princess. Get your GGs out in chat for Vonnie for a great run.
Well played indeed.
Absolutely. And we're going to try and get see if Vonnie wants to do a quick interview. Looks like he will be coming in, so once he's in here, we'll ask him about the seed. So that was a great race, even though the time differential doesn't necessarily reflect it. It was really exciting when both of our runners were in 9. It just ended up being a little bit of tough luck there for Vonnie, which it sounds like Vonnie is in our chat here. GG, Vonnie.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well played. You apparently people were saying that this was your first race of this.
Yeah, this is my first rando race of any kind ever.
My goodness, good
Wow.
job.
Absolutely.
I mean, I gotta say, I felt really good for about 45 or so minutes of this. I got the key in 1, red ring and the silvers in 8. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm ahead. Didn't get the bow in 9, so I was like, okay, I need to go hunt for it. And then I realized, oh crap, I don't know where any of the other levels even are. When I found the book, I was like, okay, let me go get hints now because I have those marked off. And then when it gave me the hint about walking across the water to get to the bow, I was like, oh, and raft. But when I didn't get it there, then I was like, okay, now I'm confused. And that was just the wrong time to have my noobishness come across that I
Yeah,
exactly know what that clue meant.
The walk across the water, that means it's blocked by the ladder, not the raft. Sail across the water is for the raft.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is there was a hint saying that Goria grumbles with the white sword. That actually means that the white sword is in level 7.
Huh.
And so with that hint, you would have known once you found 7 to just get out.
But that's
Okay.
certainly
Well, this is definitely an interesting place to be learning this kind of stuff. But that's good to know. That's good to know.
no, that's certainly understandable, especially whenever you're you're trying to dig this item out of this huge dungeon in 7. And it was actually in 7, so that makes it a little tricky too. So it's one of those things that a lot of people don't even recognize when they stumble upon it sometimes. So but I gotta say, for a while there, it was a really exciting race, and you were giving garionoldwolf all he wanted, a veteran runner of not just this randomizer, but other randomizers as well. You were right there with him, and he just found 5 before you did. That was the biggest difference. He ended up getting him his bow first.
Well, once I found the bracelet, I think was the first item that I found in 9, and I was like, oh, okay, I might need that. But then when I found the recorder, I remember I went all the way up to the tip of 2, and I knew the item was there, and it was blocked by a dig dogger, and I was like, I got this feeling deep in my gut, that's where the bow is. And then that's what happened after I left 9. I went to 2 first, found the wooden boomerang there, and I was like, oh, now I need to go to the levels. And that's when I realized, boy, I have no idea what these levels are.
Yeah. Your
so,
opponent did the exact same play after 9. It was like, oh yeah, we got to go find that. We got to go see what that dig dogger has.
Yeah. So that was disappointing. The first time that I went into 2, and I did a full clear of it, and I was just like, really, that's where the item is, fucking it. So, but I mean, I'm from that, and again, I felt like I was doing good, to be honest. By the time I found and Zelda in 9, I ahead. So,
Yeah.
but I now once I left 9 for the first time, was I ahead?
I think Garion had actually gotten out. Well, maybe
He had a little bit of a lead. He was into looking, making his way to that dig dogger, I believe, when you left 9. So he had a little bit of a lead at that point. But the biggest thing, he did go into 7 after that and found that white sword almost immediately and left, and then found 5 right after that.
Yeah. So the only other thing he had to do at that point is he had to dig out 6, because he hadn't been in 6 at that point.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did go into 6 first as well.
So okay. Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, for about the first 45 minutes that I felt like I was doing really good. I think I was digging. I want to say I was digging 4. No, I think I might have been digging 7 when I saw the dot done. And I was like, you know what? I mean, this is my first race. I'm determined to finish. But then first of all, finding the item in level 7 was a complete pain. And then when I saw it was the white sword, I was just like, oh God, how much longer is this going to take? So, but I mean, I ended up doing a lot more digging than I ever planned on, but oh well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Hopefully I'll bounce back next week.
Yep, and congratulations on getting this done. It was an excellent time, certainly better than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean that the time is above my average, so that's a little disappointing. But I mean, when you have to dig 9 to get an item to go back to get a go mode item. I mean, yeah, it's going to take a little while longer, but getting that book was almost a curse for me because it sent me in the wrong direction. So I kind of wish I would have just followed my first instinct and gone to all the power bracelet spots. And if I had done that, then honestly, I think I would have had a chance of winning.
It's quite possible. So one thing I would recommend is between now and then, make sure you go find out exactly what those hints are referring to.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of an embarrassing and stupid way to display that I don't know what those exactly mean. But yeah, that is excellent advice. I appreciate that.
But certainly an hour 32 after outside of Triforces, full clearing a seed, especially when you have to double dip 9 on your first race, is nothing to hang your head about at all. That's certainly not a bad time for that. It's actually a really good time for that. And you have nothing to be ashamed of, and you're going to be a real scary matchup for anyone in that 0-1 bracket.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and I just hope that I hope I don't get I don't get one of the buzzsaw 0-1s of which I hope I don't get like Saver or something like that next round or something. So
yeah, I'm told he's already in 9 at this point.
Legends say. But no, the great thing about Randomizer is anybody can win on any given day, and I definitely you have the skill set that if you take the right path, you can beat pretty much anybody in this tournament. So it's going to be one of those things where you just the more you race, the more you grow and get better. But I would say you certainly have nothing to be ashamed of with this race.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this back. I want to see how we lined up by the time I'm at 9. But I think it'll be exciting to watch till then, and then a little cringy after that. Again, and like you said, it's a learning process. So I just got to kind of bear it and learn from it and move on.
Well, speaking of cringe, just don't try not to cringe too hard throughout the first hour or so of the race as I mispronounce your name there.
Yeah, we both did. It was an honest mistake.
Did Jack correct you?
Several times, and it just took us a while to notice.
So all right, so while you're talking about that story, so it is Vonnie Vaughn, because. So here's the deal. When I first started on Twitch, I would go into people's chats and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, thanks for the good luck," or "Thanks for the GG," or something like that. And I would correct them on the pronunciation, and they're like, "Okay, sorry." And a couple times I was like, "Okay, I should probably stop doing this." So I kind of went with it. So like my Discord server's like the party van. Like I tell people, "Welcome aboard the van" when they. So I've kind of embraced the whole van thing as the mispronunciation.
I love it.
So you just got to kind of roll with it.
So one thing we're seeing in chat is that a lot of people left some little pieces of advice in chat for you as the race went on. They'll say things like "Future Vonnie, if you see this XYZ." So
yeah,
be on the lookout
it wasn't
for that.
just a bunch of lulls and fail.
No. The chat was entirely supportive the entire time. Not even kidding. The only people that griped out was us.
I'm making a heart with my hands. I know you can't see it right now, but rest assured, I'm actually doing it.
I'm sure that's well appreciated there.
All right, everybody. I think that's about time to wrap things up. Once again, I want to thank garionoldwolf and Vonnie Vaughn for putting on a show today. Malagord, our tracker, for taking care of this wonderful on-screen stuff, as well as keeping us in line as far as remembering what stuff happened.
Yeah.
One more thing, if I could. I mean, I probably would be remiss if I didn't say this. And I know he in IRC that he's gone, but GG to garionoldwolf. I mean, considering what that seed threw at us, for him to get, the sub 110, that's a damn good time. So I got to give him credit for playing the seed really well. And I'll probably turn on the VOD and see exactly how he did it.
Absolutely. And of course, I want to thank my co-commentator Antlers today. Thank you very much for riding along with me today.
Likewise, sir. Thank you, and it was a pleasure calling this with you, and hopefully we get to call some more relatively quickly here.
All right. So with that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. So I will just say, I have been Dr. Bobtastic,
And I'm Antlers.
and we'll see you later.
Have
All
a
right.
good night, everyone.
Take care.